right, our scripture reading for this morning is taken from Matthew chapter 13. He told another parable to them. The kingdom of heaven is like a mustard seed that someone took and planted in his field. It's the smallest of all the seeds, but when it's grown, it's the largest of all the vegetable plants. It becomes a tree so that the birds in the sky come and nest in its branches. He told another parable. The kingdom of heaven is like yeast, which a woman took and hid in a bushel of wheat flour until the yeast had worked its way through all the dough. The kingdom of heaven is like a treasure that somebody hid in a field, which someone else found and covered up. Full of joy, the finder sold everything and bought that field. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a merchant in search of fine pearls. When he found one very precious pearl, he went and sold all that he owned and bought it. Again, the kingdom of heaven is like a net that people throw into the lake and gather all kinds of fish. When it is full, they pull it up to the shore, where they sit down and put the good fish together into containers, but the bad fish they throw away. That's the way it will be at the end of the present age. The angels will go out and separate the evil people from the righteous people, and will throw the evil ones into the burning furnace. People there will be weeping and grinding their teeth. Have you understood all these things? Jesus asked. They said to him, yes. Then he said to them, therefore, every legal expert who is trained as a disciple for the kingdom of heaven is like the head of the household who brings old and new things out of their treasure chest. This is God's good news for all of God's people. Thanks be to God.
Thank you, John. Let's bow our heads in prayer. Lord, I ask for questioning and seeking and open hearts this morning, that in these words of mine they may hear your wisdom and grace. In your Son's name we pray. Amen. I'm hoping at this point to introduce a new habit to you. You may already have this habit in some form or another, but I'm hoping that if you already do, that it gets stronger. That if you don't have this habit yet, that you develop it. That this is one of those things that you'll have, and it'll serve you well over time. But I want to start you on a new habit. This particular set of scriptures, this piece that Johnny just read a few moments ago, Jesus offers us images of ordinary things. And so what I'd like you to do, I'd like you to start thinking about developing the habit of seeing God in those ordinary things. That's what I'd like you to start looking at. So at the end of the sermon, I'm hoping that that will be the closing point. That'll be my takeaway. So if you already have this habit, you feel like you've just got it down pat, then that's fine. You can sleep through the rest of the sermon, and that's okay. But for the rest of us, and Earl, we need to keep our eye out for God's presence around us. And this piece of scripture is one of those. I mean, this is Jesus' popcorn parables moment. He runs through sort of a laundry list, and he does it pretty quickly, of all of these sort of ordinary things that are around him. And if they weren't in the life and the experience of those people that were hearing, they could at least imagine what was going on around them, that they could see these things in their lives. He was using ordinary things in his life to explain those extraordinary moments in the presence of God. The mustard seed was something that would have been very common to the people in that area. And they knew exactly how big a mustard seed is. And quite frankly, they knew exactly how big it would grow as far as a bush. And in that moment, Jesus made that very quick point that great things comes from small. Each woman who heard what was going on, and any of the men that were there that understood what happened in the household knew that yeast that was put into a batch of flour changed things. And I've read a couple of different translations about how much flour we're talking about here, and the best image that I've gotten is that it was enough to make bread for 100 people or so. And only this small batch of yeast transformed that. And in doing that, Jesus very quickly said, you can be transformed, made different, changed by the smallest of influences. He went on to talk about a hidden treasure to be cherished, a fine pearl that was worth giving everything away to gain. And then finally talked about a net that gathered us in to be judged or not. And at the end, talked about a scribe who brings out the best of any generation. So a couple of weeks ago, or several weeks ago, as I was reading this particular scripture and getting ready for this morning, I got to thinking, in one of my more sacrilegious moments, that Jesus is like that, the author of the brown bag sermon. Jesus is taking ordinary things that were all around him and finding the presence and the witness and the message of God that was buried deep within. Taking those as his example, his visual aid. So anybody that ever thinks that I've invented the brown bag sermon, I haven't. Trust me, I stole it from a very smart person years and years and years ago, who stole it from somebody else, who stole it from somebody else, who may have been looking at this particular piece of scripture and said, oh yeah, I can do that in church. Because Jesus is offering this. And Jesus is asking us to do exactly this. Now the kids at camp challenged me pretty hard, because I had the senior campers bring something in a brown bag. And we had a few of those. We had one of the counselors that filled in one day as well. And so I got a baseball from one of the real athletic guys. I mean, this guy's going to go far. So he brought a baseball. One of the other folks brought a little tiny toy gumball machine. I think the most challenging one, okay, now I want you to imagine everybody's been on vacation. Everybody's been to one of those tourist trap kind of places. They're like a Stuckey's or something. And my apologies to anybody that loves Stuckey's. I do too, they're fine. But going on vacation, you'll always find that store that's got that whole shelf full, or several shelves full, of little knickknacks or curios or tchotchkes that have the name of the state or the name of the city or whatever. They have an animal or something that is that thing. You go to St. Louis, you're going to get something with the orange, right? You go to Florida, you're going to get something with an alligator on it, right? Well, this kid had gone to Florida on vacation with his folks. And so, this little particular thing that he brought up had the state Florida on the bottom. It had this, sort of garish-looking cartoon picture of an alligator on it, and it was a shot glass. Most appropriate thing to bring to youth camp ever, okay? But what was really cool was, as I'm pulling this thing, I look down and I see, okay, it's a shot glass. What am I going to do with this? But as you're passing that rack, you'll see an occasional rack of things that have your name on it, okay? And it'll be like Agnes and Arthur and so-and-so and so-and-so, and then you'll get to Charlie, and then you'll get to, and in areas where there's a lot of Hispanic people, they'll throw some Hispanic names in there because they want to make sure that they catch that population. So, I am sure that in this particular rack of stuff, there was a Javier and a Jorge, and right in the middle there would have been Jesus. I wasn't quick enough on the draw to make that connection. So as I pulled this shot glass out of the brown bag, I said, oh, look, a Jesus shot glass. I really have no clue what I said out of that. But I said something. Brianna, do you remember what I said? You do? What did I say? Was it worth repeating? he say?
It was something about. I'm afraid to say.
Yeah, we had fun at camp. Okay, we're going to move on now. Thanks, Maria. Oh, man. Yeah, it was fun. So, my point here is that Jesus probably invented the brown bag. I doubt seriously that anybody handed him a shot glass. But he would have done an amazing job of telling us where the presence of God is in that. So, are we looking around? Are we seeing Jesus' presence, the presence of God? Are we seeing grace? Even in those ridiculous things, even in those moments. Things that seem kind of either silly or maybe even very tragic. Are we looking around and we have our eyes open? One of the songs that we sang at camp was, have you seen Jesus, my Lord? You may have heard that at some point. Have you seen Jesus, my Lord? He's here in plain view. Take a look. Open your eyes. He'll show it to you. Have we seen the presence of God? And even those ordinary moments. Now, I asked the kids to write just a little something that I could share. Some moment that touched their hearts during this. And I've not seen these, so this is kind of another brown bag moment in the service. So I'm going to read these for the first time, and I'm just, you guys have read these, so they're safe, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. This one is from Jacob, who couldn't be with us this morning. When I first got to camp, I thought it would be made up of normal church stuff and activities on the side. But I was totally wrong. It was so much more than going to sit down and listen to the preacher talk about God. The first time we went to Tabernacle, we had the service. And of course they played songs and sang. I sat and just listened. And what I heard was amazing. At most churches I've been to, when they would sing, it was bland compared to camp. It was so brought together, it seriously gave me chills. And there were so many amazing and talented people there. Another time that really stuck out for me was probably on the last night during campfire. I was sitting on the bench. I looked up to see the moon. As I was looking back towards the camp, I saw the lake through the gap in the trees. The moon made the lake glisten. And once again, it gave me chills. The camp, the music, and the lake were all amazing to get the chance to be able to experience. So I would say my week at camp was amazing. This is from Brianna. Her mom gave her an A+ on the top of it, so you got it.
No, her dad did.
Oh, you did? All right. I thought camp was fun. At first, I was just scared. I didn't think I would fit in. I didn't think I was cool enough or pretty enough, but I actually fit in well. I didn't have to look pretty or be cool. People accepted me for who I was and who I am. And I loved that. I was included in everything, and I got to make friends and see some of my old ones from last year. I loved all of the activities. I loved everything about camp. My favorite activity was that I did was probably Scott's hour, which is nap time. Yes, sleeping is an activity. I really feel like I changed, and I learned a lot about God. And my battery is fully charged, and I feel like a new person. Church camp has changed me for the better, and I hope I get to go back next year. Brianna, you will. Every day we are presented with the opportunity to see God's grace. And sometimes we have to get away from the normal stuff, the things that we see all the time, and the people that we see all the time, because they start to get normal. We stop seeing the tree we drive past, the sunset that just happens to be there, the person that loves us, but they've said that they've loved us all along. Getting away from that routine and that normal allows us the privilege and the honor and the opportunity to see God's presence anew, the beauty all around us. One of the kids mentioned the lake and the moon. Jacob, you're right, waxed poetic in that moment. I'm sure he's seen lakes and moons before, but the moment gave him new eyes. We see the beauty in creation all around us. We see the children of God that are around us all this time, brothers and sisters of ours. The lessons of the common and the uncommon things that God reaches out to us and shows us where God is at work. And where God gives us the opportunity to see God's presence here. And at the same time, in that moment, give us the opportunity to see where we might serve, where we might reach out, where we might be God's presence as well. These are the teachable moments that are all around us. And seeing them is the habit that I'd like you to work at. Because quite frankly, we spend our lives mostly going through the motions. We get none. I stand up before you every week and I know your faces. And I hate to say it, but sometimes I get used to the person that you are. But this week at camp just reminded me that I need to see you with new eyes as well. And you need to see the person that is sitting next to you with new eyes. With God's grace. With understanding that that person has more surprises in store for you. It can show you God's grace. And in those moments we can be God's grace for one another. We can get better at this stuff. We can unclutter our hearts and uncloud our eyes. We can take our own camp experience. We can set our cell phones aside and speak to each other at the restaurant. We can drop the daily drama for just a moment and see that person as broken and as needing as that moment is. We can allow those ordinary sights that we have let become invisible be seen again. And in those moments we can be reminded that camp song, have you seen Jesus, my Lord? He's here in plain view. Take a look. Open your eyes, and he'll show it to you. Let's bow our heads. Gracious, loving God, open our eyes. We have become so used to seeing the world around us as normal. Let the exceptional you show through in every single moment of every day. Draw us closer to you, we pray, in your Son's name.